Good evening and welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. I am your host, Attorney Lee Marvin, and I'm here to answer immigration questions, to provide context, and to really just rationalize what is currently going on this day and age under this administration with all the changes. And I'm here to answer those questions. So welcome. Today is Monday, September 15th. 2025. And I'm again here to talk about whatever you guys need to talk about. I have some questions that were asked earlier before today that I wanted to get to, but I did want to remind anyone who's joining to please go ahead and put your questions in the comments section of your profile, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. I'm streaming live on all three of those platforms. So I would ask you to please post your questions. I'm here for you. I don't do this for me. I do this for you. So please post your questions and I will get to them as I can. So I see that there's a few people starting to trickle in. I will tell you that as you join, I would love to have you shout out where you're joining me from. I always get a kick out of where people are joining from, whether it's in the United States or abroad. We get a lot of people internationally. So just let me know where you're joining from and what your questions are, okay? So I'm going to start out. There's a lot going on, and I know that goes without saying. There's a lot of changes to many different aspects of immigration. Naturalization is one of the hot ones that people are talking about, and the recent update that President Trump put into action relating to people's ability to show good moral character, that has changed. It's been decades since there have been any change to that particular part of immigration, and that has changed. Okay, so a lot of people a little bit nervous about that. And of course, I can provide more information in a moment, but I do want to do a shout out to all those of you who are joining us. So let's see who we have. Philippines. Okay, we got a friend, Joselito. Hello, Joselito, joining us from the Philippines. And I know you join us most Mondays, so I thank you kindly for joining. From the Philippines, okay? So it's morning there, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here, Detroit time. Question is, why until now is the U.S. Embassy in Manila not yet scheduled my priority date, which is November 23rd, 2021? Why is the embassy very slow? Can you help me? Joselito, what is the priority? What is the sponsorship? That has a lot to do with it. So I'm not sure. I mean, priority date is November 21. I don't know where they are, but it depends on your category, okay? Every category, the different relationships have different waiting periods. So that probably is why you're still waiting, okay? But if you provide information, I could perhaps take a look and see what's going on for you. So I'll be watching these comments here to see if you answer that, okay? Okay, so we got a friend joining us from New Jersey. Thank you for joining us from New Jersey. Appreciate it very much. And as I do this, I always forget this part. Like and subscribe, right? If you're not already a fan, become a fan, subscribe so you can get notices, especially YouTube, because I have over 600 videos on my YouTube channel, very relevant information. It might not be as timely as all the notices that are coming out right now, but chances are, if it's important, I will be doing a video to break it down for you guys. But you got to subscribe and like so you get notified of those awesome videos, okay? So I'll put a plug in for that right now, and later on I might do the same thing. Okay. So here's a question. This is an interesting question. There's a lot of marriage fraud going on these days. So Daoud is asking, he heard that it's best to file a marriage fraud complaint with all three agencies, ICE, USCIS, and DHS. So Daoud, it depends and where you are, okay? I'm assuming that you and your significant other are in the United States, which means that ICE and USCIS and DHS come into play here. It's not, it's not somebody at the State Department, okay? So there's if there is immigration fraud going on and you are the victim of it, somebody lied to you to get a green card, yeah, I would definitely reach out to all three of those agencies, um, because they all have a role in enforcing immigration law. So if you really want some action on that, then contacting all three of them is probably a good idea. So yeah, takes time and effort, but it might not be a bad idea. Okay. And Daoud is joining us from Dallas, Texas. So thank you for joining us from Dallas. Okay. Let's see. Let me take a look at this. Okay, so here's a question. Okay, from Damien. My work permit, which is the employment authorization document, is outside normal processing time. You did an inquiry, you're still waiting for a response. Okay. You're moving next month to another state. Will this slow down my case or will it speed it up? I wish I could say that it would speed it up, but it doesn't work that way. Because honestly, now you got to file a change of address with immigration, and now they have to change their internal process to reflect your new address. So it will create a delay for your work authorization. Definitely get on top of that, because if it gets delivered to your old address, you're going to probably have to refile from scratch, because you never get those back. People never hand over or forward one of those documents to somebody. So make sure that you do that as soon as possible, because that is highly, highly valuable and important, which okay. I'm going to take a look here. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So here's Karam reaching out regarding guidance on the I-130. We filed the I-130 on the 22nd of August. So last August, 2024. Basically, we filed everything, but we didn't hear anything yet. I want to mention, that your joint bank account wasn't included because the spouse resides overseas in Egypt. Okay. So, Karam, I will say, I'm gonna guess your question. It's like, why is it taking so long? Is what I hear your question really is. So you say you haven't heard anything. Does that mean you haven't even gotten a receipt from immigration showing that you filed? Okay, that's key. If you haven't received that receipt, then there's definitely a problem. If you've received it, it's just delay in the process. Okay, immigration taking time. So, and again, Karam, the big question is who you're sponsoring and what is your immigration status? Are you a citizen? Are you a legal resident? That all has an impact on these processes. Okay. 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 So I get it. It was hard to get a joint, hard to add your significant other to your account, right? I get that, especially, I mean, if there's no social security number, most banks won't add somebody to a bank account. So that's not a deal breaker. I mean, the more the better, right? The more information you can have that shows your joint relationship, the better. And obviously, um, it's an imperfect system because you can't do much of anything without a social security number these days. But yes, I see that you added as an authorized user. That's good thinking. I don't know if you saw that from my videos. but that is definitely good thinking. It might not work with everything, but it often does work, and that's helpful. So my big question to you is what is the relationship and whether you got a receipt notice or not. Okay, I'll check back with you to see if you answer that question here. In the meantime, I'm going to go over to Instagram and see what kind of friends we have there. Lots of people asking questions, which means it's a good time for me to remind people to like and subscribe. If you like the content that you're getting here every week I don't think I've missed a week, maybe one here or there for the last year. Tons of good information. We always post these videos on my YouTube channel along with these 600 other specific types of videos. But the only reason you get notified of these is if you like and subscribe. So please go ahead and do that, okay? Okay, the real Bernard, my friend, joining again. You join most weeks, and I appreciate that. Your work permit through your online account says 1 week until the case is going to be decided. Will I get a decision after a week? Because it's been almost 8 months now since you applied through marriage and you're getting frustrated. I hear you, Bernard. I hear you. I don't know. They put stuff in the profiles. I don't know who does it, what they base it on, whether it has any reality, if it's grounded in reality at all. I've never seen one where they say it will be decided in a week. So I'm a bit curious about that. Usually they just say, we're processing your request and we'll let you know when we have an update. I've never seen them proactively tell people it's going to be a week. If that's what they're telling you, if by this time next week we're having the same conversation, then I would presume that they didn't do what they said that they were going to do. Again, just hang in there and eventually it will work. And I know you're frustrated. 8 months is a while to wait. It's a game. It's a shell game. The shells are constantly moving. The prize is under one of the shells, but which shell is it and when you're going to get it? It's kind of tough to find out. Okay. So moving on to the next question. Let me get some agua. Okay. So this individual, Martine, filing an N-400, which is application for naturalization. It asks if I support my wife and children, and if so, I'm asked to provide evidence like child support, etc. I still, okay, so your question is there a part of the application where it asks about the support of your wife and children? There's no option for me to specify that you support your family 100%. So this is a misunderstanding of the process, okay? And again, a lot of people are DIY or doing it themselves, right? That's why you probably check in to my live to ask these questions, because this is a question that's very easy for people who have done it, okay? That particular question relates to people that have split relationships. You are divorced, you're no longer together. You have child support obligation through the court. And that question is asking whether you actually pay your child support to support your kids. Well, if your kids are a part of your family, you don't have to show that because there is no court order telling you to pay because you're already doing it because you're all a part of the same family, okay? So that's the thing. These things get confusing. Everything depends on what your status is, and you got to know what immigration is asking and why they're asking. So hopefully that answers your question, Martine. If not, follow up with additional questions and I'll get to you. So in the meantime, I'm going to go back over to my YouTube family. Let's see here. Okay, so this is a continuation. Okay, Karam. Okay, I'm going to skip to you, even though, and Peter, I'm going to get back to you in a second, okay? Okay, so Karam says, will I be able to send unsolicited evidence without a request form from USCIS? Otherwise, it will slow down my case. Okay, so, okay. So, Karam, here's the deal with that, okay? you cannot. Once something's pending and they're going through the process of reviewing your request, you can't send in any other information without the request for evidence, right? The RFE, if they issue it to you, then you can respond. You can't do anything besides that. The only time you can ever provide additional information is at the time of your interview, okay? So if you're talking about just the I-130 process, which you are, then you cannot supplement anything unless they ask you, or when you finally get to the interview, okay? So hopefully that answers your question. Okay. Okay, I'm just reading more of these questions. Okay, let me go up to Peter before I forget. Okay. Okay, so congratulations, Peter, to you. You did your removal condition and your naturalization, probably at the same interview, because they started doing that a while back on September 9th, and you passed. Congratulations to you, sir. That is wonderful. How long does it take to get the letter of the oath ceremony? Depends on where you are. Okay. Here in Michigan, it's like 2 weeks. Okay. So 2 weeks. I mean, you're kind of within that window, right? The 9th to the 15th. So you're about a week away. It's anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks. Could be longer depending on where you are and how busy your particular field office is. But congratulations to you, Peter. That's fantastic, man. Of course, now you know that if you have additional family members as a U.S. citizen, you can sponsor people that you couldn't before. If you don't know that, that's true. And if you need help with that, I can definitely provide assistance with that. Let me go ahead and post my link here. If you wanted to talk about that and you want assistance, my link here is how you do it. I'm going to put on all these platforms, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So again, Peter, congratulations. Okay, so let me go back down here. Okay. So Diego, right, Venezuelan relations with Venezuela, they aren't great. There hasn't been anything lately that is any different than it has been for the last, I don't know, it seems like forever. I haven't heard of anything that is happening. So I think it's just business as usual. Is that the United States will respond harshly when the Venezuelan president does things that challenges us or contradicts us or just does crazy things, because he's done it for a while. It typically does change things with the government, obviously, and Trump is somebody who's very quick to respond. I haven't heard of anything. So hopefully things are in the straight and narrow with Venezuela. I've got family in Venezuela. I hear different things here and there, but nothing major that I could point to right now. So hopefully things work out with your fiance moving forward and getting that fiance visa approved. Okay. So good luck to you. Let's see here. Okay, so this really isn't. Hey, so Peter, you're joining us from Hartford, Connecticut. Thank you for remembering to tell me where you're joining us from. So Hartford, Connecticut. I don't think I've ever been to Connecticut. So but thank you for joining us from Hartford. Okay, so CD has a question here. It's not really a question, it's an implied question. For our interview last week, we were told to wait for a letter for 2 months. Nothing else was told. Okay. Well, CD, I would ask, what is your interview for? I'm assuming a green card, but it might not be. It might be something entirely different. And I'm curious where you are, what service center, what state you're in, because if it is a green card and they said you can wait for 2 months, that's a pretty long time to wait. But there's a lot going on right now, so that very well could be how long the wait time is. So yeah, I don't know what process you're doing or where you're located, but 2 months in Michigan, I've never had it take that long. Really, it's 2 weeks. I've had 2 weeks, and that's pretty common for my clients. But again, some people, when they do it themselves, it kind of changes things, and that might be the situation for you too, okay? So I'm going to come back to Luis here in just a second. Let me check out Instagram, see what we have here on Instagram. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, a question from Pamela. How is the K1 processing times going lately? Pamela, how the K1 processing times going? So when I do these, in my experience personally, as an attorney who's filed for lots of K1 visas, of course, there's two parts of the process. USCIS first approves the petitioner's request to get a K1 visa, and then they send it over to the State Department or the National Visa Center and then the embassy for processing and scheduling the interview. The first part, USCIS, takes about 10 months, and it takes roughly three to 5 months for the National Visa Center and the embassy overseas. Again, it depends on which embassy. Some embassies are extremely busy, and others, it's a matter of days once they receive notice that there's K1 visa coming, and then they will reach out, and it's usually pretty quick. But it all depends on where, what country we're dealing with, okay? Seeing a lot of people joining now on Instagram. Thank you for joining. And again, if this is your first time here, welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. Subscribe and like this channel, my posts, so you get notified of other very valuable videos and things for your use, okay? I'm going to go back over to YouTube, answer Luis's question. Luis asks, my son is in the military, and we submitted the military parole in place. They received April 11th. I got my biometrics completed July 21. How long will it take for a decision? You're in Maryland. Thank you for joining us from Maryland. So you're waiting for them to approve the parole in place. Again, July biometrics. So again, in Michigan, it usually is 2 to 3 months to get a decision, Luis. So you're probably in line with what is normal in Maryland. That's similar to Michigan. Yeah, I mean, the good thing is you got the biometrics. So it's, as long as it was filed correctly from your son, it's just a matter of waiting, and I don't doubt that you will get that approval, and then you can move forward with the green card process, with your interview in the United States. And if you that's the challenging part, okay? So if you need assistance with that, even if you are in Maryland, I'm absolutely happy to help you with that process. So there's a link that's a few posts below yours. Reach out to me. I would like to help you with that green card through your son. I'm in the Army. I don't know if your son, what branch he's in, but it's nice to have a fellow military service member, family member, plugging away for you. So thank you for that. Okay. So, and I don't know if my connection is very good. I was told by a watcher that I was frozen for a little while. I don't know if that's still the case. If it is, sorry, folks. I don't know what's going on. Maybe somebody in Washington heard that I was doing a video. So little joke. I don't think I'm important enough for that, but whatever. Looks like we're doing good now. The stream is good. Okay. So, okay. And again, this is Peter answering more questions. Okay. So my wife, okay, let's see here, Peter. Okay, my wife is going to do the I-130 for my son in Jamaica. How long does it take to get the I-130 approved? He is 15. We get back the receipt. You got back the receipt for the I-130. Okay, so Peter, that's good that your wife did it. Wait, is she a resident or is she a citizen? I asked because it actually takes longer for a citizen sometimes than it does for a legal permanent resident. As a minor child, it probably is about the same. So usually it's about 10 months in my experience, Peter, for an I-130 to be approved. And then for for the National Visa Center to pick it up and to open the case with the embassy in Jamaica. So about 10 months for the I-130 to get approved and about 3 months for everything else to go through. So again, Peter, if you need help, the link is up there and you can reach out to me at any time. Okay. 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 This is a wonderful question. This is from Kayomisu. Okay. First part of the question is, you want to apply for military parole in place. Okay. For your mother, is she eligible if she has TPS? And TPS she entered without an inspection, EWI. Okay. So yes, military parole in place. The point of the military parole in place, the purpose is to support humanitarian efforts of military service members so that they can focus on serving this country and not being distracted by fear and worry of a family member who is out of status. Okay. That being said, the whole purpose behind the military parole in place is to allow family members who have entered without inspection to be able to parole in place, meaning not have to leave the country in order to be able to do their green card interview. That is the whole point of the military parole in place. So yes, if your mother has TPS and she entered without inspection, she absolutely is eligible for military parole in place and to be able to adjust status and get a green card in the United States without having to leave and risk getting that dreaded 10-year bar. If you need help, I'm going to post the link again because I've done many of these military parole in places and the green cards that go with them, and I would be happy to help you out. Yep, you say TPS here. She lost it recently. Okay, so she lost it, meaning the approval she dropped somewhere or it was removed and canceled. Big difference, right? Losing it because the government takes it from you or losing it because, you moved and the stuff came up missing. So if she physically lost it, then it's always possible to request a replacement documentation from the government. Hopefully you made a copy of it. If you didn't, then contacting USCIS might be a good idea. The government took it. Oh, okay. So immigration no longer honors it. Basically took it away. Okay. Honduras, got you. Okay. It didn't get extended. Right. The TPS, they are going through changes with the TPS, and they are trying to do away with a number of these. So let me go back to your question. And I know that I'm at the mark where I have to be done for the night, but I just want to get this for Kayomisu. Okay. Okay. So yes. Okay. So I get it. Um, she no longer has TPS because the government has not renewed it. She still has the ability to do military parole in place. Okay. She entered without inspection. She had TPS. She no longer has it, which defaults to what she was before, which was an individual who entered the country without inspection. That still is the purpose behind military parole in place. So, um, yeah, she can get it. I can help. So reach out to me and I can definitely help you with that. Okay. I'm going to go over one last time before I sign off to see what other questions are on Instagram. So I'm not cutting people off because I know a lot of people take their time out of their busy day to come and join me. Like and subscribe. That's the new thing that I'm actually remembering to tell people. Please like and subscribe so you can join us in the future. Patty, CVC, can you talk a little bit more about the updates about I-130 family petitions? Okay. Talk about the updates specifically to parents of U.S. citizens. So, Patty, what specifically are you talking about? What updates are you referring to? Okay. Yeah. So, what I guess maybe I need to look at a little bit more into this. I haven't heard of any major updates to the I-130 petition process. Now, maybe you're saying that the application they made a couple changes to that application. They're calling for interviews. Okay. Okay. So, family petitions for parents of U.S. citizens. Interviews. Okay, so now I get what you're saying. Okay. So again, this is the trend with immigration and the current administration, wanting to vet everybody. So they historically have never done interviews because what are you going to interview to? I think it's silly and kind of ridiculous and a waste of taxpayer dollars and all that kind of stuff, but whatever. The point is, they are assuming that people are not being honest and forthright. Um, so, as far as the guidance on what they're going to be asking these interviews, they haven't released any of that information. It's a trial and error type thing. So, really, the only thing they can ask about is the relationship, right? So, solid information about birth, birth certificates, marriage between parents, if that's appropriate, especially for fathers, because fathers getting sponsored through a child who was born out of wedlock is very challenging for a father. It's not for a mother. Again, I don't know if that's your situation, but I think that's the intent behind these interviews is to make sure that these relationships are solid and that people aren't, I don't know, faking it. I mean, it seems silly, but there's a lot of fraud in immigration, and this administration is obsessed with stamping out all sorts of these sorts of fraudulent relationships. It seems silly to me. I don't think that they're going to keep it for too long, but right now we're kind of have to kind of deal with it. Okay, so you applied in April, and your mom was just called for the interview. So now let me ask you, Patty, are they asking you to be at the interview too, or is it just your mother? Okay. Because I've heard both, and that could change things quite a bit. And it depends on a lot whether your mom entered, how your mom entered, and all those sorts of things. So, yeah, it really depends. And I'm way out of time. So, Mr. Pickford, hello, sir. Thank you. Thank you for joining and saying a shout out. And good to see you again, sir. So thank you for joining, and we'll see you again soon in person, I believe. So again, thank you everyone for joining. As always, next week, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Detroit time, Immigration Live with Lee. I will be here to answer more of your questions. I hope there's not anything new to talk about, because usually new things are a little problematic for people because of all the craziness. So hopefully it's going to be very boring next week, and I'm happy if it is. But thank you for joining, everyone. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you next Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.